Hi, my name is Yazan Ibrahim, also known as Yazan Abu Ghosh. Today we will talk about Chapter 2, Part B, IT Management 2.10, IT Service Provider, Acquisition and Management. In today's fast-paced, tech-driven world, how an organization designs and manages its IT services isn't just a technical decision, it's a strategic one. Picture this: a dynamic business environment where competition is relentless, technological shifts happen overnight, and customers expect nothing less than perfection. In this intense arena, organizations face one critical question: should they handle IT entirely in-house, collaborate with external providers, or create a flexible mix of the two? The answer to this question is at the very heart of an organization's ability to thrive. Let's start with the first big decision: choosing how IT functions will be delivered. There are three distinct models to consider, each with its own strengths, challenges, and implications for the company's future. First is insourcing, where everything is managed within the organization's walls, leveraging in-house expertise and maintaining full control. Think of a company choosing to keep its IT staff centralized, like a tightly knit team of engineers working just down the hallway. This approach works well for organizations wanting deep control over core activities. Then there's outsourcing, where IT services are handed over to external vendors. This option often shines when cost savings, time efficiencies, or a need for specialized skills are key drivers. For example, imagine entrusting IT functions to a seasoned specialist company that operates halfway across the world, providing a round-the-clock service thanks to time zone differences. The strategic engine driving outsourcing decisions. Outsourcing isn't just about contracts or cost savings. At its core, it's a reshaping of the value chain. Imagine an organization peeling back its operations layer by layer, carefully separating what truly gives it a competitive edge from what doesn't. What remains are the key functions that define its DNA, its core activities, while everything else becomes a candidate for outsourcing. This requires more than just procurement expertise. The decision to outsource should be guided by clear governance. Strong governance ensures transparency, ownership, and accountability, a foundation critical for outsourcing success. Remember, even if an external party delivers the service, the client organization retains full accountability for its outcomes. The benefits of outsourcing, when done right, are significant. Picture a seasoned outsourcing vendor pooling resources in a way that creates massive efficiencies, economies of scale. They're specialists focusing solely on these services, honing their craft with every project. This singular focus means they often bring innovations or solutions to the table that in-house teams, less exposed to diverse problems, might not imagine. But outsourcing has its fair share of risks too. Think about it this way: once you hand over control, there's always the looming specter of dependency. What if the vendor suddenly fails to deliver? What if costs spiral out of control midway through the contract? What happens if sensitive organizational data is compromised or leaked? Therefore, robust contracts, contingency planning, and a laser-sharp focus on risk management underpin every successful outsourcing arrangement. Even seemingly small issues like bringing in new systems or managing changes in network architecture require meticulous attention. Finally, there's the hybrid model, a mix of insourced and outsourced resources, often the most practical option. You'll see hybrid arrangements when companies strike partnerships or bring in external staff to supplement their teams during critical projects. It's akin to teaming up with another firm for a shared sense of accomplishment, each side contributing to the bigger picture. These delivery strategies also come with geographic options: on-site, where the IT team is physically present within the company; off-site, where they operate remotely but remain within nearby regions; and offshore, often across continents, where economies of scale and labor cost arbitrage come into play. But while the options are diverse, so are the questions that must be asked. How do you make the right decision? Here's the framework. Start with defining the nature of the function at hand. Is it a core activity, one that's so fundamental to the business that only the company can do it best? Or is it something routine, perhaps a service that can be delivered externally while you focus on what really drives value? And ask yourself, is outsourcing the smart financial choice? Can it deliver at equal or higher quality while keeping risks manageable? But even beyond these questions lies the art of governance and strategy, especially when outsourcing gets involved. Let's take a step into understanding outsourcing practices and their deeper implications. And then there's the challenge of reversing an outsourcing decision. Switching vendors or reabsorbing functions into the company's fold is often more complex than many anticipate. So how do organizations manage this carefully orchestrated dance? It begins with drafting the right contracts and clear service level agreements, SLAS. Crafting the blueprint for success, SLAS and contracts. Let's think of SLAS as a lighthouse, a guiding beacon for both the company and the vendor. Every SLA contains detailed benchmarks to measure performance, ensure smooth communication, and maintain expectations. Whether tracking system uptime or transaction processing speed, SLAS provide the hard data to gauge success or failure. But SLAS do more than just set standards. They empower companies to take action when things go wrong. Contracts can and should include provisions like penalties for underperformance, from delayed patches to extended downtimes. On the flip side, incentives can reward vendors who go above and beyond. What happens when sensitive data is involved? In today's hyper-connected world, outsourcing naturally increases exposure to cybersecurity risks. Contracts must enforce data ownership, confidentiality, and disaster recovery protocols. They should also empower companies to audit the vendor's practices, a proactive check on whether compliance with security standards is being met. And here's where standards like ISO certifications, think ISO IEC 27001 for information security or CMI for process maturity, come into play. They act as a global seal of trust, ensuring quality and security that both parties can rely on. The role of cloud computing and globalization in a modern IT world. Now let's zoom out and take a broader look at the world stage. Beyond outsourcing lies another transformational force, globalization. Unlike outsourcing, globalization doesn't necessarily hand over control to third parties. It instead embraces the idea of a distributed IT ecosystem across regions. Think of a company situating its development team in one country, its testing team in another, while management centralizes somewhere else entirely. This strategy rides on the back of telecommunications advances, enabling near real-time collaboration across continents. But with opportunity comes risk. For instance, cross-border legal, tax, and regulatory issues may arise. Data sovereignty laws might restrict how and where customer data is stored, and cultural differences can complicate communication or project timelines. At the very frontier of IT service delivery is another force reshaping how businesses operate: the cloud. The convenience and scalability of cloud computing is undeniable, yet it has introduced entirely new governance challenges. How does a company control access to its most sensitive information when it resides in a shared cloud environment? Policies governing cloud adoption must strike a delicate balance between organizational agility and adherence to strict security standards. How auditors play their role. At every stage, from exploring provider options to continuous monitoring of SLAS, auditors play an essential role in IT outsourcing. Their job extends beyond ensuring that vendors are meeting performance metrics. They dive critically into elements like third-party audits, such as SOC reports, risk governance, and ensuring business alignment with IT goals. Auditors also investigate critical governance questions. Are ethical labor practices being observed offshore? Are cloud vendor jurisdictions well understood? Is intellectual property at risk? These inquiries ensure that strategic decisions extend smoothly into ethical, operational, and compliance concerns. In the end, whether outsourcing, insourcing, or globalizing IT services, the goal remains the same: to extract maximum value, mitigate risks, and align technology with long-term strategy. The decisions taken today will lay the foundation for sustainable growth, competitive advantage, and organizational resilience far into the future. This dynamic narrative is ready to be storyboarded into stunning visuals: offices bustling with IT teams, data flowing across countries, contracts being signed, or even animation of SLAS neatly organized into checkboxes. Paired with engaging visuals or metaphors, this script will make complex outsourcing strategies and governance practices come alive for your audience. Hope this fits your needs perfectly. Let me know what else you'd like expanded or refined. Thank you for watching, and as always, continue learning. Stay curious, and we'll see you next video.